Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. This is interview number four, I think, from the open studios that we're running today. We're going to hit record. We are going to get a disturbance through this though, because Mr. Hinton, our Shane, is going to be joining us at some point. He's stuck in traffic. He's panicking, but I told him not to worry. And do you guys want to introduce yourselves as to who you are?
Yeah, well, my name's Ryan. I'm the Managing Director of Connect Security based in Shrewsbury.
And I'm Stu Cowlan. I'm the Operations Manager.
This is so nice to hear that, because a bit of background to me and Stuart. We've known each other for over 10 years. When we were a bit younger in our lives, we worked security at Asda in Telford. We kind of just parted ways a bit, didn't we? And then it was weird because I just moved to Shrewsbury way before I started the Biscuit, and I was walking through the quarry and I bumped into you, didn't I?
Yeah, you were with the family.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's you!" And you were like, "Yes, it's me, it's you!" And it was just like this amazing moment, where we just reconnected, and it's just amazing how the universe just aligns itself for people to sort of just meet again and do what we're doing today, because you've gone from this young kid doing security, learning the ropes, to now. Is it a joint ownership or
no?
So he's my right hand man. He's my right hand man. So yeah.
But you've gone up and you've done this thing, and now you're here again, and Ryan as well. You know, it's just
it's amazing how things work. Isn't it?
Yeah. So when it comes to security and what you guys are doing, what is it you guys offering? Is it just door work, or is it?
So the spectrum of services that we offer is vast. It goes from things like static site work, where you're sitting on a building site, making sure that's secure and safe. We do retail work, so due to Corona, we control the flow in and out of shops and premises. We do door supervision. We can offer store detective work, so plainclothes security. We offer overnight site work. Nice. So we cover a massive. We also cover evictions, things like that. But my thing is the response teams that we provide around the Shrewsbury Town Centre of a weekend. That's mine, and I'm nurturing that.
I remember I did an interview last year with James Hitchin from the Alb. We were talking about him, and I also spoke to Alex Vladmirov, two separate people. And they were talking about the communication between sort of pubs and bars and stuff across the town. It's similar to what we used to work with in Telford, right?
Yeah.
So if you had a problem with someone in the store, you'd tell people across the whole shopping centre, and everyone would know there's an idiot in Poundland or something, you know. Yeah. And communication's important, right?
Massive.
It's a big thing for us, is communication, so obviously.
Yeah. And Ryan, where did this come from? Obviously, how many years did you work in security?
So I'm brand new to the game. I'm properly brand new to the game. Stu taught me a lot of what I've learned at the moment. Basically, I was running a club in town that was now closed, and basically I was looking at something different, looking at doing something completely different. So the club closed, and I went off and did something different. And I was like, right, there's definitely something that I can do here. Make some changes, bring security into the newer age of things, the more social side of things. So I brought Stu on board, and Stu's helped me massively. Taught me a lot of what I know now, and that's where it's come from.
It's nice to see that, though. It's nice to see that you had an idea and you've done it.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Exactly.
And I couldn't have thought of a better right hand man than Stuart.
Thank you.
I mean, Stuart learned a lot from what I knew, and I didn't really know a lot. I'm going to say,
it was one of them that you had experience, you had life experience, you'd been and done things that myself as a young kid coming into retail security had never learned, and I've carried the majority of the lessons that you taught me through onto the doors and
I do remember speaking to Stu about it when I mentioned about coming on. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely coming because Al taught me everything I know." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, let's go for it then."
I think it's all about being observant, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just seeing those great things. Because when I was really eager, I was probably too eager. It would be a case of I'd jump on the cameras and bam, within 10 minutes, not even that, I'd be like, "Go on," you know. And we'd work well. There was a moment actually when we were just absolutely
unstoppable.
We were unstoppable.
I remember the Christmas that middle Christmas, because I was there for 3, the middle one where we had 10 shoplifters in 4 days, and they were decent shoplifters as well. It was the town centre guards would come in and say, "Do you two want to go on the cameras?" Yeah, okay.
You guys are going, "Oh God, we're in for a busy day." It got to a stage for me where I was kind of like, there are certain situations when we talk about shoplifters and thieves and things. There are people that are in situations where they can't help that. You know, we were stopping people that were stealing baby milk for their kids.
Yeah.
People that were sofa surfing and had no money. You know, we're talking like 14, 15, 16-year-olds. There are people like my friend Ryan and Ollie and
all
Ryan,
those people. He's now.
Yeah. He was a mess. He was an absolute mess. I'm telling you now. He would sit there just drawing Indian ink on his hands and going and pushing guards around and walking around with big groups of people. And I recognise this kid as someone that's just in the wrong stage of his life, had no real guidance. So despite all the trouble that he was causing and the people waving their fingers, and so, I'd say to him, come and talk to us. Come and talk to us. Tell us about how your day's been. And there's been a couple of people like that. And Ryan was someone that we'd actually caught for shoplifting. Yeah. He was someone that had caused a lot of trouble. But he was at my wedding because I recognised people as human beings. And that's what I struggled with working for a big corporation like Walmart, was like that I can't just process someone because of a policy. I can't do that. Yeah. And that's why I got out of that thing, because there's too much compassion behind me as a person.
Yeah, no, that's, to be honest, that's why I've moved away from retail guarding as well, because you see people at their lowest when they're, I mean, my first stop was 2 16-year-old kids who were living on the street, who had stolen 4 sandwiches.
Yes, yeah, and it's a dire situation. I'm just checking.
And looking back now, I was praised really heavily by the management for making the stop and recovering the goods.
Yeah.
Now, moving on further in my life, I've been in that situation where I've been sofa surfing and not had 2 pennies to rub together, and thought, you know what, I don't know, I'm going to eat today. So now looking back, I think, wow, that to be praised for stopping someone eating,
it's quite demoralising for someone that's at the lowest point in their life. But when it comes to doing what you guys are doing now, you're offering a service that's actually really important. People think of bouncers and security guards as this kind of.
This is why I wanted to do something different. Obviously, with your so-called bouncers are big brute, bold, stood on the front door of a club, telling you you're not coming in because you're too drunk. Scary lad that's going to chuck you out at the end of the night because you've done something wrong. Fair enough. I wanted to bring that they're not all like that. There is some friendly people about. Like they all do the same job, but you get some that are good, some that are bad. Same in any industry. But that's why when I started Connect, it was one of them that just wanted to bring something different. Wanted to be them friendly faces instead of them people that are scared of us at the end of the night.
Yeah. I mean, I've never understood that. I never understood how. I mean, I get it. It's a necessary evil. You need to have that protection on your business, to be able to make sure everybody's safe. But at the same time, you've got these brutes on the door, and it's nice, friendly little. But I like the Alb. I've seen you outside the Alb. The Alb's a brilliant little pub. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So to have somebody stood there that looks like a machete would probably look good in his hands. You know, like it doesn't make sense to me. So that is a perfect analogy of kind of welcoming somebody into a place where they're going to feel safe and respected is the most important word.
Yeah, right? Very much.
100%, definitely.
My ethos behind it is we don't provide bouncers, we don't provide security blokes, we provide security operators, because by giving them the title of security operator, they operate at a higher level. We focus a lot on customer service. I mean, I'm 6'2", I'm the best part of 18 stone, I've got tattoos on my hands. But as you've said, I'm able to work venues.
He's a pretty boy, though. He's a pretty boy.
I thoroughly enjoy working venues where you are more of a concierge than a doorman.
Yeah.
Where you are going, good evening, folks. Especially with Corona, the level of interaction that a doorman has with clientele has increased because table bookings, have you done track and trace? And you don't have, there isn't the need anymore for lumps of men stood on doors.
By the way, I just got to say that if you are one of these brutes that stood on the outside of the window, this isn't a dig at you, by the way, because I've met people like Big John, man. We used to work with Big John. He's a scary looking guy, but you speak to me, he's an amazing person to speak to.
We know several of them.
Yeah, and I don't want people to go away thinking, these guys who are just slamming door workers, and we're not
Absolutely
but what
not,
you've done, Ryan, is you've given people, if they want to do something similar in a more sophisticated setting, they can do that.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's horses for courses, in that I have no doubt out there where you will work a venue and you need someone in your team who doesn't need to talk. Just their presence and their aura alone is enough to squash a situation, and that can be an asset when used correctly.
Yes.
However, when you've got a team of 10 to 15 blokes that are all that, for someone who isn't as confident in themselves, who suffers with things like social anxiety, who suffers with any mental health problem, to then walk through that sort of guard of honour of blokes that would look like they'd use you as a toothpick is scary. I'll be honest with you, I don't really like going out in public. I'm a big guy. I don't like going out in public. There's
Thank you, Siri.
there's lots of people out there. I don't like going out in public.
I mean, I suffer from a bit of social anxiety. I said to myself, I'm going to stop talking about this on the show, but here I am again. But when you're in a shop and you feel like a shoplifter, you feel like you've been in there too long, you feel like everybody's watching you. That is how I feel all the time, okay? Mm-hmm. That's just an analogy of how I feel when I'm walking down Pride Hill or something like that.
Yeah.
So if I'm out with the guys, I mean, we did have a night out. It was just an absolute... Oh, it was a nightmare, because it was the first weekend when they were like, right, everything's closing at 10 o'clock. That was the first weekend.
Wow.
And my friend had come up from Cheltenham, and we've been planning this for weeks, and I was like, okay, we can still do it, and can have a few beers at mine or whatever, afterwards. And it was just an interesting situation, I gotta say, because you couldn't get anywhere. And I was just like, okay, so we were like bar hopping, but wherever you could get in, and so that added to the anxiety. But if I was out on a normal night out, I don't have a problem with walking through bouncers at all, but there's a certain expectation of how a bouncer should look, and that's quite scary, right? Normally.
Stereotypically, yes.
We've worked with people that are amazing at what they do. I'm not going to mention a name. A police officer that we used to work with, very small lady that was very loud but brilliant at what she does.
Massive.
And I'm telling you now, right? I was chasing a guy down the car park in Telford I was chasing him. He was getting away from me. I'm not gonna shy away from that. But she jumped from behind the car and she went, "Stop!" Put her arms out, and he fell on his backside. He was just. I was just like, this woman's like 4 foot tall. One of the best coppers in Shropshire. I gotta say.
The other one that I can think of that springs to mind is the male who used to work with her, who has the same surname as the boxer.
Yes. He saved my back. I hated him, because the first time I ever dealt with him as someone who caught someone, he was like, where's the concealment? Where is it? I need to know how. I need to arrest this person, and I need to know where is it. And we're going through the cameras, and I'm like, it's coming. He's towering over me. He's like, and I was just kind of like, oh, leave me alone. But after watching him work, this old-fashioned copper...
community policing is the sort to take you home to your parents rather than put something on your criminal record.
Yes. And he helped me out quite a bit, actually. Yeah. He helped me out quite a bit. I learned a lot from him.
He was another fantastic example of you don't need to be big to be in control.
You can be intelligent and you can treat people like human beings. And that's what I took away from my transition from doing that kind of line of work to doing what I do now with support. Is everybody's a human being, right? And that's what you guys offer at Connect, right? It's like everybody that comes through the door, it's got to be you got to be respectable.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
One of the big things with the response team that I run.
What is the response?
Okay, so the response team is, we are licensed door supervisors. Mm-hmm. We are employed by Connect Security. Mm-hmm. What we are is, because of current climate, obviously some venues can't afford door staff. Some venues can only afford one door staff. Now, even though Boris says a rule of 6, when you're trying to deal with 6 individuals as a one, it can become a bit overwhelming quite quickly. So we are there to support our door staff. However, we are all trained in various other things. So my big one is first aid and conflict resolution. I'm very, very good at talking people down.
It's very nice to hear you say that, Stuart, because you never used to.
No.
He's got the gift of the gab. I've got to give you that. But I mean, it was one of those when we were younger. It was kind of like, oh,
yeah,
oh yeah,
let's go. And I've learned very quickly that you can have that mentality of let's go for everything immediately, but the kind of shoot first, ask questions later. It burns you out. It makes you very tired, and it makes you have quite a negative view on the general public, and that's not what I want to do. So I now lead by example. I think changing of my day job, because I used to work in security full time. I now don't. I'm now a support worker. I think working with the people that I work with and working with the service users that I work with has changed my view on that massively, in that sort of we're all trained in physical intervention. Let's get this one out of the way. But for me, it's an absolute last resort. I hate having to use physical intervention on anyone in any way, shape or form.
There's a mic live for you. Don't worry, you can just sit down and enjoy the rest of the show. Shane just walked into the studio. He was like, "Oh, you carry on. So there's a mic here."
So physical intervention, as I say, it's a necessary evil. We're all trained in it. Yeah. We're all very aware of it. However, as I say, mine is I would rather spend 15 minutes talking to someone than 35 seconds physically removing them from a venue.
Because that has a lasting effect on someone, doesn't it?
Yeah, massively.
100%. You know, and I think that's probably one of the things I did teach you, actually, is when we were at ASDA, is like, just talk to people.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's got their own stories and things like that. You know, you can look at someone that looks a certain way, acts a certain way, but you don't know what's going on inside their head.
No.
You know, so if you even assume someone's going to be a shoplifter or they're going to cause trouble in a club just by the way they look, and you're going to act a certain way, that's demoralising, and that's creating a problem from the beginning, isn't it?
And also, if you look at someone and go, "You're going to be a problem, you're going to be a problem, you're going to be a problem," chances are they then turn into a problem because that's the way you've directed the situation and that's the way it's manifested itself.
Saying that, that was probably the main attraction to a lot of my ex-girlfriends. Is you're going to be a problem. Okay, but we don't care. We're going to put that over there. How are you, Shane? You good? You just got back?
I'm all right. I'm out of breath.
Where did you park?
Colham.
You park?
I've had to park at Colham. And I've had to run here.
Oh my gosh.
And at 17.5 stone.
I'm impressed with your commitment. I'm
sweating, I'm out of breath, and I want a coffee.
You're here. We'll get this.
I want a pay rise.
A pay rise. You get your pay rise from nothing to...
Nothing.
Yeah. I'll buy you a coffee. There you go.
You will buy me a coffee.
Ryan, what's the feedback been like since you started then? And when did you start and what's the feedback?
Yeah, so I started Connect in February this year. Obviously, it was like mid-COVID. Like, it was... as COVID hit.
The best time to start.
Literally. And to be fair, the whole way through, it's been hard. I'm not going to sit here and deny that it hasn't been hard. It has been hard. But to be honest, everyone that we've served a service to has been happy. We've always had good feedback from everyone. Everyone's happy with what we're doing. And we've had a lot of new clients come on board as well. So we've had a lot of new people. They've seen the brand, they like what we do. And that's what I wanted to do. I got asked a couple of weeks ago, actually. They were like, "Oh, you're way too young to be doing this. Why are you doing it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm 21. Yeah, I may be young. Yeah, I'm new to the game. But we've all got to learn somewhere. Yeah, I've jumped right in at the deep end. But when I've got such a good management team, Stu, Tom, Glyn, Charlotte, they're all round me. I've got a really good management team in place.
Not forgetting Chris.
Oh,
and
Chris.
We all love Chris.
Yeah,
he's the managing director of our sister
Chris.
company. Sorry, he that man is
he's an awe of knowledge.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's very, very good at what he does.
It's refreshing to hear, though, Ryan. You're this young chap who started his own business, and you're not like, this is my company, this is what I got to do. You're like, okay.
Oh, you've not heard his tantrums in the office.
These guys are going to put it in my biscuit business.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I'm pretty much Owl's handler.
Yes.
More or less.
Yeah.
At the team. I'm the one that's got him on the leash.
I was just telling
I
Stuart,
know that
actually,
feeling.
having a bit of fresh air before we started this, and I was telling him, like, you know, I'm a calm, collected guy these days. Because when I was at Asda, Stu knows me when I was at my worst. I'm telling you, I was not like that at all. And sometimes you got to look at yourself and think, nah, that was probably the wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, being around these brutes like of doing security, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not the alpha male, and it took a long time for me to admit that to myself. I'm not that guy. I'm not ooh, you know. I'm not saying you are either, but maybe a little bit. I don't know. So yeah, your feedback's been good though, and so growing with the company. Have you got to be careful not to grow too quickly, because with more clients come more personnel. With more personnel comes more money.
100%. So we grew. Well, I bought into another business that was selling, and so I took on his staff and their contracts and whatnot. So I grew from nothing to something quite quickly.
Yeah.
And then we started gathering more and more and more, and it got to a point. It was quite recently where it got to a point, and I'd literally hit the end, and I was just like, okay, this was a lot harder than what I thought it was going to be. Like, I properly hit the end. I was like, is this going to be worth it? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? I could be working somewhere for someone else. And then the management team picked me up, and they were like, look, we'll do it. We'll smash it, and we'll go out and do it. And that weekend was probably the best weekend that we've had, to be honest. We got to the end of the week, and I was like, from 3 days ago when I was like, no, I can't be bothered to do this anymore, to the end of the week when I was like, right, we're going to smash it now. There is them different bits of, whoever else runs a business, they know the little bits that get to you. But to be honest, everything that we're doing at the moment is on and up, and I'm happy about it, which is always a good thing.
And what separates you from the rest? What makes Connect Security?
I'm going to leave that to Stu.
We are bringing security into the 21st century. We are providing, as I say, security operatives, not guards, not bouncers, not jobbers in uniform that stand on a door and fill the shirts. My aim is to provide the best security operatives in the West Midlands. We're doing this through continuation training, through in-house development, in terms of I am happy to go and jump on a door with someone who we feel might not have all the skills, or may have all the skills but doesn't know how to use them. It's about education. We educate our staff. Communication. We go around and we visit our venues every weekend. We go and see our door staff every weekend. Whether that's I remember one weekend we went to Telford, then back to Shrewsbury, then back to Iron Bridge, then Oswestry, then Welshpool, then back to Shrewsbury, and we did all that between 5 and 9 o'clock, and we didn't break the speed limit. It was just non-stop.
Would you say, because like all those towns and places that you mentioned have all got like a certain sleepiness about them, you know? I always compare Telford to Emmerdale, because I grew up. Listen to me, right? Where I grew up in Wrexham, there was literally bar, club, bar, club, bar. It was just literally a strip of just that's where I grew up, right? That's where I spent my early days drinking. I moved to Telford, and you go to the local. You know, or the couple of places you got in Wellington or something. It wasn't like what I was used to, so I was complaining to going to the local or going to in Emmerdale, you know. Do you think that Connect has its place geographically? Like, would Connect fit in a place like Birmingham or Liverpool or something like that? Because
yes.
Yeah?
To be honest, we could move anywhere and put our brand anywhere and it'd work. And that's not just us saying it because we're running it. It genuinely could. We've got a staff base all over. And because me and Stu are quite approachable guys, the rest of the management team are approachable. We can walk in anywhere and be like, yeah, guys, this is our service, this is what we offer, this is what we can do it for. Perfect, let's go for it.
And then when you look at certain assets of the business, like the response team, when you imagine, obviously we provide 4 officers, 4 response officers in Shrewsbury Town Centre. Now you look at Broad Street, all you do is just multiply, and you put maybe 6 teams of 2 out. We're all advanced first aid trained. We're all very good communicators. There are both team leaders that we have out on a weekend are both handcuff trained and licensed. We've all worked the doors for a few years. We've probably got about 40 years experience between the 4 of us that are out on response. Yeah. We've all been doing it a long time. So we have the knowledge and the skill set to...
I think what you were saying about conflict resolution, things like that, it makes me think that anybody of any sort of age and stature, sort of size, can do this role. Because, for example, right, say I'm some girl, I'm wobbling around, a lot of bouncers would be like, "Not today, love. Sorry, mate, no. And that would just cause a problem. Whereas if you know to be like, "Listen, we've got a respectable, place here. You're not very good. If you drink more, you're not in a good place right now. You've had a bit too much to drink, and if you drink more, you're going to put yourself in danger, or you're going to be."
Mate.
Okay, so that was fantastic. However, what I would go with is,
when you start saying something, and you're like, "Where am I going with this?"
So we provide a customer focused service.
I tell you what. This is a better idea. Just to interrupt you, let's do a bit of role play. Shane here is too drunk, right? He's coming up to the bar now. You've got to sort of tell him. So Shane, you're going up to the bar, right? The bouncers are going to stop you because you're drunk.
Security operatives.
Sorry. So Shane's walking up to the bar now. He's
I need a bit more context here. I mean, are we talking like how drunk am I? Am I wearing heels? Am I not wearing heels? Short miniskirt? Like what?
You're at the point where you're a bit wobbly and you slurred speech, and you probably
go home. You get at the end of you, Sackland.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So let's do this then, okay? So Shane's coming to the club. He's at the door. He's met you guys.
Come to the club.
Good evening, miss. How are we? Are we okay? Manners maketh the man, am I wrong?
I'll be like, all right.
Do you have any ID this evening?
You honky man.
Thank you. Do you have any ID this evening?
No.
Okay, unfortunately,
I dropped it down the toilet.
Oh.
When I was being sick.
Oh no. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to let you in this evening due to the fact.
On. It's my birthday, man.
Happy birthday. How old are we?
Old enough.
I don't doubt that for a moment. However, unfortunately,
a man isn't supposed to ask a woman her age.
Okay. So how much do you weigh?
Okay.
You started this.
I don't know where you expected that to go, but it wasn't going to go anywhere else other than that.
Okay, so
I've worked with Stu too long, I don't know where that was going.
I heard some important parts in that, though, is good evening, miss, for starters.
Yeah.
It's not like a... it's not your
I was being.
Although, to be honest with you, looking at the LGBTQ community,
miss is
probably an inflammatory word. So what I would potentially go, good evening, folks. How are we?
Yeah.
Ask to see ID.
Yeah.
If they can't produce ID, explain calmly. And if you have to explain 15 times, it's better to explain 15 times than go off, go home.
I mean, yeah. To be fair, that's just a sort of. You do that in general customer service, don't you?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
Don't do that. You always throw me off. You do that in basic customer service, don't you? So whenever there's somebody making a complaint and you get to the point where you can't actually help them anymore, you just start repeating the same sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And eventually they start.
It will sink in at some point.
Yeah. Eventually it'll get it. You say it in different ways, but eventually you just say the same thing. And
from the sort of model that I use with the support working, what I've found massively helps is when you go, I understand how that must make you feel.
Yeah. Bring it down to that's.
I'm so proud
of you, man.
It makes me feel really angry. Do you know what? It would probably make me feel really angry, so I get that.
Yeah. Ryan, you say you're new to this. Is there anything that you've seen during this that's alarmed you?
Me.
Yes, Stu. Not really. It's obviously I've worked in this sort of industry, like the night industry, for a while, so I just kind of got used to it. Stu was my head doorman at the club that I used to run, so I knew Stu from when he wasn't the nicest of people.
Yes.
So when
I was still, even at 2.5 years ago, I was probably still shoot first, ask questions later.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, but then
what I love about Stu is he is very much like me. I was when I was younger, I was a completely different person. You wouldn't recognise me. I wasn't the calm guy you're hearing today. In fact, I ejected Stu out of my house for being too drunk at one point.
That's true.
And I didn't speak to him again till I saw him in the quarry, which I mentioned earlier. But what I was proud to see was me and Shane had covered a lecture at the Alb. And afterwards, we sat and we chatted to you for
a while.
It was a good while, and I was just so proud to see you because you looked smart. You were very polite the way you came across, very friendly, and that's the Stuart that I first met, not the one that went down the rabbit hole. And to see you go for that extraordinary journey was great. And I think Ryan is a compliment to you. I think you guys are great for each other because you're encouraging Stu, and Stu is giving you the education you need.
We get that quite a lot, don't we? We get that. We work well together. And obviously, because I knew Stu from when he was, like I said, not the nicest of people, to compliment myself, I'm one of the only people that can rein Stu in when I know he's going. Like
he's my handler.
Like I know when he's going, and I can be like, Stu, come on, mate. Come on, let's go. Let's pack it off and let's swap with someone else. But this is one of the things that people see me and Stu walking through the street, and it's like little and large, and like it genuinely is. He's like.
I quite often get asked if I'm his bodyguard.
Yeah, I get that. We get that quite often. But obviously,
I am.
Do you know who Ryan reminds me of? Remember little Ben?
Yes. Yeah. Ben 10.
One of the best stories ever. Like, there's this guy kicking off in this huge unit of a guy. He's about 6'5". He's kicking off, right? And all the security guards in Telford Town Centre are all crowding around this guy. And you see little Ben 10 running up, and he just dives on top of the pile. And you're just like, this guy's going to get tuned up. But it was amazing to see. Oh, God. So, moving forward, 2021, I reckon, is going to be one of the biggest years in history. If we're COVID free, everyone can party, they can go to concerts again, they can go out drinking again. It's going to be one of the biggest years ever.
So if 2021 goes to plan, fingers crossed, we've got a lot of big things coming, a lot of bigger contracts, a lot of events, festivals, stuff like that, that we have missed out on a lot this year because it's the way that it has been. Obviously, as soon as 2021 hits, then we can turn around and be like, we got through the hardest of times. Because
well, the new ways up, isn't it, for me?
Yeah, personally, I don't think
know what kind of lunatic would open a business that provides a service to hospitality in the middle of a global pandemic. What kind of person would do that?
I remember I was just scrolling on Facebook, and obviously I've known by a while, and I was completely oblivious to everything that's been going on. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just kept seeing Connect Security everywhere. But I never really took much notice of what it said. You know, you just sort of keep scrolling. You know. And eventually, Ryan put a status up on Facebook. I can't remember what it said now. But I was just a bit like, Ryan started a business? Now? And I looked into it, like, I had a bit of a Facebook stalk, as you do, you know. And I was like, all right, fair play. And then ever since, I've sort of been, whenever I see something coming up and been sort of looking and things like that, and I've been like, fair dues, it's blowing up. And then it's very quickly, because after I first noticed, very quickly afterwards, you put out that you bought something else, another company, and amalgamated into one, And I was just a bit like, fair dues to that, fair play. You know, in the middle of a pandemic kind of thing. It's
like just, I said, it's been hard, and I can tell you that my
little grey patch of hair, to like, you know,
literally exactly that. Exactly. Like, it's just one of those. I wanted to do something different. I've definitely done it.
I mean, I've got to say, I wasn't surprised, because I mean, if you got the definition of hustler, then Ryan's probably it.
Absolutely.
Don't say that. People will be like, "Oh, he's a hustler, is he?" Yeah, okay.
In like the nicest way, like
he's
he's a grafter.
He's a
Do you know what? He
grafter.
puts the hours in.
Yeah.
He goes above and beyond.
He's always on the move, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's always
Yeah,
like.
it's growing now, guys.
There are times where I would be finishing a shift at my day job, and I would see that he's still at a venue, still doing stuff, and I'm like, it's a Wednesday night. It's
What are you
1:30
doing?
midnight. Go home to bed.
That's what I have to have with these guys. Honestly, I'm constantly I'm stressed. I'm doing all these things, and these guys are just like, just go to bed, have a day off, and yeah, I appreciate it.
I'm a bit less polite than that.
Stop whining, Whiteley. That's what I usually get.
Shut your mouth, go to bed. Leave it.
If people want to take advantage of your services, if there's a club owner, a pub owner, how would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so go onto our website. It's www.connectsecurity.ltd.co.uk.
Or we've got the Facebook, which is Connect Security, and the Instagram also, Connect Security LTD. There are contact numbers for myself, Ryan, the other operations manager, and the business manager all on there. So if you can't get hold of one of us, you'll be able to get hold of the others.
Nice. Keep doing what you're doing, guys, and keep looking out, because what I hear is there's a lot of compassion there for human beings.
Oh yeah, massively.
Definitely. And I like that. I like that because, like you said, you've transformed the bouncer into something that's a bit more sophisticated and more welcoming. So keep doing what you're doing.
Well, it's pride within the town where we live. Both me and Ryan live here now. I'm proud to say I live in Shrewsbury, so
Nice.
I want it to be a nice place for people to go. And if that means me putting my security operatives out on a Friday, Saturday night to keep people safe, to administer first aid, to help them get to a taxi rank, to be able to give directions, even to be able to just talk to people,
Nice. I
then
really
I
appreciate
want to do it.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shane, for putting this together, because
It's all right.
you've put me in touch with an old friend, and maybe we can speak to you guys next year and see where you are.
100%,
I don't
definitely.
know,
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, be up for that. 100%.
Yeah, we'll go for a pint sometime as well.
Yeah,
Sounds
absolutely.
good.
Very
Sounds good.
Yeah. You guys are great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Very much.
You got anything to add, Shane, before we get over here?
No,
Yeah.
that's it.
At least you made the show.
I'm starting to. My heart rate's coming down a bit now. I'm all right. I just need that coffee that you promised me.
I'd love to give the listeners an opportunity to check out our website as well, which is www.theshrewsburybiscuitpodcast.co.uk. All of our audio is available on there. That's made by our friends at Web Orchard. I always point to the banner. Nobody can see me doing that, but I always do.
I can see you, Al.
Okay.
It matters to me, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you need a website, check out Web Orchard. Pete White is amazing. You'll listen to what you've got to say. This episode has been brought to you from the Parade Shops, which is behind St. Mary's. It's an amazing place to come and look if you're looking for something to buy the missus, if you're looking for photography, if you're looking for flowers, if you're looking to do pottery with the kids and spot and splodge, or
Or if you want to come and speak to us.
you want to come speak to us, come to the Parade. It's amazing. Guys, you've been awesome. Thank
Thank you for having us.
Shane,
Thank you very
thanks
much.
for making it.
It's all right.
We'll
I just saluted for the.
yeah.
Yeah.
We love you guys. Peace out.
See ya.